my life.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about yourself, your kids. Tell me about Mombossof3.
So Mombossof3 is like my, what do they call it? Alter ego. So,
Yeah.
so my name is Tina. I have three boys, 6, 5, and 3.5. And I am a rehab professional turned stay-at-home mom turned YouTuber. So I'm a healthcare professional gone rogue. That's what I like to say. Um, so I document my life and my family's life over on YouTube on my channel, Mombossof3. And that channel originally started as the Neurotic Mom Diaries, which is really how I feel inside. And then I became Mombossof3.
Awesome, awesome. So what was the purpose of it? Like the neurotic mom, was that just you, your day-to-day? How many kids did you have at that time?
So I started my channel when I had my third kid. So he was only 3 months old at the time.
Oh, wow.
So I thought, here, it's a great project. I've got 3 kids at home, three under like 3.5. Let's start a YouTube channel. Like it was crazy. So I started it mainly to document my kids' lives, right? Like to document their childhood. I wasn't good at pictures. I wasn't good at videos. I wasn't good at any of that. And I thought, here's a great opportunity to document their lives and they can look back on it. So that's how it started.
Oh, so that's nice. So you actually started it for them.
Yeah, so I started it, well, I started it as a way to sort of document my family, again, because my youngest son was only 3 months old and I felt time was flying. And that was the year I had all 3 kids at home because no one was in school yet. So that's when I started, yeah.
Oh, awesome, awesome, awesome. Did you think it was going to turn into what it's now, like this huge following of Marmy?
Well, I think when I started, like when I started, I didn't expect it to go that way. Like I think I thought the channel would grow. Like I thought that I had like a story to share and a voice and whatever. But I didn't know it would evolve into what it's evolved into today, right? Where I have people who like come to me or consider me like an older sister or a younger sister or a friend. Like, I didn't know it would turn into that level of connection, which is amazing.
Yeah, isn't it amazing how like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube bring people as if you guys have been friends forever?
Yeah, like you and me. Like you and me
Yeah,
are on the DMs all the time, right? But I mean, we've never actually met.
right.
Yeah.
I talk to you all the time. I'm commenting. I'm like, yes, that was my life, and sometimes that is still my life.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is really, really cool. I like it. As a parent, how do you find yourself? Do you find yourself acting a little bit like your mom? Because I look at you and your dynamics on your vlogs and everything just flows. I mean,
Really?
it flows in a really good way. And even though it may be busy or you're doing a lot of things, my favorite videos are when your sons come in
Yeah.
and they're laughing and they're playing. But do you find yourself acting a little bit like your mom? And what was she like when you were growing up?
So I think I probably do act like my mom. And I don't know, I think it's a great thing. My mom's amazing. So I think it's a great thing. But I think when I was growing up, I'm a daughter of immigrants. Both my parents worked. And so they weren't at home a lot during the day. And so, after school, it would be like going to the babysitter and then I would see them, like they didn't work late. So
Right.
when we were really young, it was like alternating shifts, right? Because there was someone had to be there with us, right? So my mom would work a set of hours, my dad the other, right? And then as we got a little bit older, like my mom would be home by like 4 or 5 o'clock. So it wasn't terrible. I think I do act a lot like my mom. I think it's more like we need to get everything done off the checklist because there's so many things to do. And I'm trying to move away from that because I feel like I'm just rushing my kids through everything. It's hard to break that though. You've got 3 kids and one of me, my husband works late. So like someone's got to get the stuff done too. Right. So,
right. So yeah, it creates a flow. I know when my kids were younger, after I put everybody to bed, they were ages 0 to 10. So born to 10.
Yeah.
And I would get everything laid out. I mean, I'd have 10 shoes.
Okay.
Set out on the fireplace, 10 socks, 10 shirts, 10 pair of pants. Everything was laid out, book bags. So all I had to do, that would let me sleep like maybe 5 or 10 minutes because I knew I was going to be up at night, wide awake. So if I did it at night, the next morning, I would rather sleep an extra 10, 15
15
minutes
minutes. Yeah.
than to go to bed an extra 10 or 15 minutes earlier.
Yeah.
So
Yep. And I hear you, because every morning I go through my laundry baskets of clothes that I don't fold ever
yeah,
because I just don't get to it. And every morning I curse myself because I can't find a pair of socks for one of the kids, right?
yeah,
And so every morning I get mad at myself, and I'm sitting in my bedroom and I'm looking at the baskets of laundry and I'm like, nope,
nope.
not my priority right now.
Exactly, exactly. And it's funny because when they come home, if I'm cooking, I have three daughters that are out of the house.
Mhm.
So when all five kids are at home, even though they're in their 20s, I
Mhm.
still put five glasses, five plates.
Yeah.
It's so weird. I'm like, stop. They're grown. They can get their own stuff.
You know what? Habits die hard.
Yeah, it does. It does. Um, so you have three boys, of course, and you say they were 3.5 to 6.
6. Well, soon to be 7. This month will be 7.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool, cool.
Yeah.
We'll get a chance to see his birthday.
Yes, you will get a chance to see his birthday. Yeah.
Awesome. Um, you have three boys, you're busy. How do you find time for self-care, and how important is self-care for you?
So I've talked about self-care on my channel a lot. It's been like a big thing that we've been talking about because I'm not great at it. I've never been great at it. And I think a lot of it comes from this caregiver role that I kind of throw myself into, whether I need to do it or not. Like, I feel like I always kind of position myself in that role. And so now I feel like I realize how important that self-care is, because now it's like, oh, when I've got the back pain, I've got everything else, like forget like the more, superficial self-care. Like, I like to get my nails and stuff done and all that.
Yeah.
But that's just a nice to have. But like the basic self-care, like looking after your body and your health, like now I feel it. And so now I feel that I want to make more of an effort that way.
Yeah.
My youngest son will start school in September. And so I'm hoping that's going to give me a little bit of breathing room to focus a bit more on the stuff that I need, which I think I've waited way too long, but better late than never. But I think it's
Exactly.
really important. And if you can build self-care into your routine, even when you have really young kids,
Mhm.
it just shows them a good example of what it means to take care of yourself. And it's the better you are to be a parent.
That's true. That's true. And I think because I'm a single mom, sometimes I get wrapped up in the doing,
Mm-hmm.
and I can go days without sleep. I mean, and I know like the nails done,
Mm-hmm.
the manicure, pedicures, massages, and things like that. That's great, but like my mental health,
Yeah.
I have anxiety. And I think I told you sometimes, like when I'm going through an anxiety moment, for the longest time, I would just push through, push through, push through. And then I realized, that's my body saying, okay, hey, stop, hello,
Yeah.
take care of me,
Yeah.
So I'm learning. I don't have it down pat yet. I talk about it a lot, but I'm really working through it just like everybody else, just trying to figure out how to fit me in the midst of everything else that's being done.
Yeah, there's so many things happening around us all the time. And I feel like my husband is really great at this. Like, he's really great at sort of saying, like, there's always going to be stuff on the to-do list. Let's enjoy this time or this moment. And I'm like, okay, but then I'm just going to have to do the laundry later, right? Like, so it's like my tasks don't end. And so he's really great at it. He's really great at like being able to put a pin in things and saying, okay, we need I need me time, or we need family time, or we need whatever. He's really great at that. So yeah. I need to learn. I'm not good at it.
Yeah, I'm learning. I think we're all in this together, and it feels like it's just a wave across the world, not just the US, but across the world. Because I talk to moms in different countries, Korea, Japan, and Africa, and
Mhm.
we all say the same thing. We all say the same thing across the board. It's just, finding that time and just making time for yourself.
Yeah, and I don't know if you've noticed this, but I feel like that was like the hustle, hustle, hustle has been that has been the mantra of everyone for so many years. And I feel like just this year, people have sort of stepped back and said, like, there's been a lot of people been like, I'm taking a bit of a break. and
Yeah.
I'll be back, or I'm doing this. Like even myself, like cutting down, I recently cut down from 3 videos a week on YouTube to 2, and it was like a major decision. But honestly, I don't regret it at all. It's made such a huge difference to my workload,
Right.
that I think that people are starting to appreciate more of the, like, we don't have to hustle all the time kind of approach.
Exactly. And that's a good thing too, because when I realized a lot that the intensity level in society, like you said, is hustle, hustle, go, go. And I think a lot of us are burning out too. We're getting to that point where we're getting older, and it's starting to affect our bodies.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That's where you feel it.
I'll be 49 this year, and I'm like, okay, the stress is not worth it.
Yeah.
You know, I
And
can
I have
cut
to
it
say,
down.
you do not at all look 49. I was going to ask you how your 3 older kids are in their 20s. You're like, they're out of the house. I'm like, you do
Right?
not at all. So you look amazing.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, it's just finding room to really, really take care of yourself, and just not letting society dictate what your life is supposed to be.
Oh
And
my God. You know, you're speaking my language.
yeah,
That's my thing. Sometimes you got to live your own life in your own way. And sometimes that's not what everyone else wants. And you kind of have to learn to be okay with that for the sake of your own sanity and your own happiness.
exactly, exactly. And it took me a while to get there, where I was always just trying to be this mom that, especially after my divorce, you're keeping everything the same. You're
Mhm.
trying to be this work, creative, friends,
Mhm.
do everything and have the kids be on point. But I realized my kids, I've always let them be really verbal.
Mhm.
So they were like, no, this isn't going to work.
Mhm.
No, you're stressing us out. So
Yeah.
we just need for you to tone it down a little bit. So
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah,
You, they feel what we're putting out there.
they really do.
Mhm.
And I don't want to raise another generation of that really don't look inside and find out what they really want to do,
Yeah.
as opposed to having society dictate to them that if you're this age, you're supposed to do this. If you're, there's a baseline, of course, but it's not worth the stress.
Yeah. And beyond that, and you know, and I'm with you on that. Like I'm a firm believer in education.
Yes,
And so, you know, even if my kids choose to not do something with that, like whatever, everything informs the life that you live and how you
right,
think. And so I think education is important. But for me, same thing. There's a baseline. Like you need to go to higher education.
right.
You do your passion, you want to follow that, that's fine. But you need to have the education behind you so that it's a different way of thinking, right? So
It is.
I'm with you, like on the baseline thing, like not everyone has to be a doctor, lawyer,
Right.
engineer. Like they can be something else. It's okay.
Exactly. I know my daughter, my youngest daughter, she's 21 now, but at 18, she was accepted into a school, and she just said, hey, I need a mental health year.
Yeah.
It's been stressful. My
Yeah.
senior year was stressful. I need a mental health year. And she wrote the dean, and he sent her back an email that said, mental health is important. Take your year. Your spot will be here next year.
Wow. Good for her.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I learned even through them
Yeah.
what self-care means.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, for sure. For sure. For sure. And good for her.
Yeah. I said, kudos, chick.
Yeah.
So congratulations on your Iris nominations.
Oh, thank you.
I know I nominated as well.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you to everyone. Like I had so many people who went and nominated me, sent me a screenshot. I'm like, that's because you know what, for someone to go and go out of their way, even
Yes.
like, it just took a minute, but still anyone who went out of their way to go do that for me, like, thank you. Those people
Yeah.
care, right?
One of the major things that I love about your vlog is you're so candid. You're very real. You talk about a lot of different issues. It's not just mom issues. You talk about life. I know you mentioned you're living with your in-laws. You've
Mhm.
talked about race and different things.
Mhm.
How, as a parent, how do you, I know one thing just happened. and you can chime in if you like, but when it comes to race and your kids, are you protective, or are they so young that they really don't know yet?
So I think it's a bit of both. So I think that they are young and so they don't know yet. And we live like in a really diverse community. And
Okay.
so there are people who look like them and people who don't look like them. And it's like that's normal for them. But we're because we're Sikh and my kids keep their hair, like they are in other places, they will stand out, right? And
Right.
so I am protective of them, yes, because I never want them to experience what I know other people have experienced. Um, I, I try to protect them right now, but at the same time, I know that that's not going to be forever. And one of the great things about having an online platform is the number of people you're able to reach. And it's not
Yes.
necessarily to educate people on who you are and, you know, why you do what you do, or, what religion you follow. Like, I think that's great for anyone who wants to know it.
Right.
But, I spoke about it recently. I have people reach out to me to ask me, like, can you tell me more about being a Sikh person? Can you tell me more about whatever? And I mean, I tell them the same thing. Like, you can Google that really simply if you want to know. But if you're looking for information to tell your kids, or an easy way to explain to your kids or your family, or for you to know about other people, I say just preach kindness and acceptance to your kids. If you teach that to your kids and your family, it doesn't matter what any person is, and you don't have to go through, because it's a big job to try to teach your kids about every different kind of culture and religion and person that's out there. But
Right.
kindness and acceptance, and that we're all the same, is an easy way to make sure that generations going forward are more accepting and kind to each other.
That's true. That's true. That's one of the major things that I taught my kids early on, because we lived in a smaller town here in Georgia, and I wanted them to know that there was a larger world, a bigger world out there. So I would have them do reports about different countries
Mm,
so that they can accept that there are people that don't look like you. Even if you don't see them, there are
mm,
people that don't look like you who love their life, so that you can accept other cultures and
yeah.
not in your baseline, like my dad used to say. He used to say, if you don't have anything nice to say, then keep your mouth shut. I know people say don't say anything at all, but my dad was like, look, if you don't have anything nice to say, then keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, I like your dad.
Yeah. So I learned a lot about kindness and acceptance from my parents. And
And that's where it comes from, right? And that's why I mean, I love the fact that so many moms reach out to me like for more information. But at the same time, I'm like, let's just teach our kids all the same thing, right? And if we do that, then we're doing great.
yes, yes, yes. That's wonderful. Well, I know you have to go. But before you do, what is some of the best advice you've been given and that you can give to moms?
So just about motherhood in general.
Yes.
So I would say the best advice that I could give is that you you can't be everything to everyone all the time, and that's okay. I think that took me a long time to learn, and especially when I added like a second child and a third child to my family, it was like, okay, one kid needs something right now, and then the other one's crying. So you just have to tend to the needs at hand, and I think that works for like overall in life too, right? Like you can
Right.
only tend to certain things at a time, and you can't have it. You can have it all, but not at the same time. And certain areas in your life will dip a little bit while other ones raise, and that's just how life ebbs and flows. That's what I would say.
Right.
The best piece of advice I've received about being a parent, I think, honestly, I think so many people have told me just go with the flow, because you can't plan or predict so much with parenting, unfortunately. And I'm such a planner, and like I like that.
Right.
Um, I don't know. I like to know what's going on, what's coming up. Like I'm a planner, right? And so that was a great piece of advice for me. Like you need to let that go a little bit, because especially while they're young, you're not going to be able to do this. And then even when they're older.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Great advice. Great advice. I know when my kids were younger, I was very strict, and I wanted them to be a certain way and do a certain way so that they can be this whatever in society. And then I learned that whatever path is for their life, if I'm so nuts trying to get them on my path, then
Yeah.
what does that do for their path, their original path, the one that they're supposed to be on?
Right.
So
Right. And when we look back at our like our own lives and our own upbringing, like you think about like the rigidness of, well, at least
right.
for me, like I mean it wasn't so rigid, but it was like it's the expectation, right? You're gonna
Yeah,
go to school, you're gonna get a good education, you're
right,
gonna, whatever, you're gonna get a job, you're gonna get married, you're gonna have kids, whatever. And that's just what I grew up with all my life. That is what I did, and I'm very happy with my life. But at the same
right.
time, I'm just like that's not something I want to like drill into my kids. I want them to find their own path, just like you're saying.
Yes. Yeah, awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking time. I look forward. I hope I get a chance to talk to you more as time goes on. Like I said, I love your vlog. I've sent it out to all of my moms, and I just think it's such a wonderful way to wake up in the morning
Thank you.
and relate, because this wasn't out 26 years ago when my
Yeah.
oldest was a baby.
Yeah.
It was like you get up and you go off of what you know,
Yeah.
what you've seen,
Yeah.
and that's how you operate your life. And now you have this platform where there's so much impact for moms to be able to see a different way.
A
So
different way of doing things. Yeah. No, thank you so much. I would love to chat again in the future. I mean, if we do this again like next year, maybe things will be totally different.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Kiss
Thank
the
you.
boys quietly and calmly. And I stay in mom mode, by the way.
Yes.
This is, I just stay in mom mode. I keep kids on the weekend, even though my kids are grown, I still keep people's kids because
Yeah.
it's so much fun to look and see them grow and be who they are. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Good for you.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, good night. Thank
Good
you
night.
so much. And I'll see you on Instagram.
Yes, you'll see me. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye bye.